That starting topic, "Those Were the Days," had this magic way of pulling you in. Archie and Edith sitting on the piano, bickering of their loving, awkward way. It was the sort of display that felt so actual you nearly forgot you were watching actors. And then there has been Gloria, Archie's outspoken, free-spirited daughter. She wasn't just Archie's little female, she became the voice of a brand new technology. But here's a story you won't recognize: how Sally Struthers, the actress behind Gloria, determined her manner into one of the maximum groundbreaking sitcoms of all time. But permits begin inside the destiny for a Tude, 2019, to be actual. ABC decided to do a live model of All Within the Family. Imagine it, actors getting into the one's iconic roles, acting a traditional episode state for a contemporary target market. You'd assume Sally Struthers, who lived and breathed All Inside the Family for years, might be thrilled. Instead, her reaction changed into, "Now not what you'd anticipate." When asked about it, she failed to maintain back. "Why?" she stated. "What's the point? It's a classic." Sally failed to imply to sound harsh. It wasn't about being negative. She just believed you can not recreate magic like that. All in the Family came at a second in time that by some means became out to be an appropriate moment, she said. "We had the proper cast, we had the right writers." For Sally, All Within the Family wasn't only a TV display. It became a phenomenon. It turned into bold, controversial, and uncooked in a way TV had by no means been earlier then, and no state performance, no matter how proper, may want to capture what the unique show had. She had a factor, didn't she? Can everyone definitely replace Carol O'Connor as Archie Bunker or Jean Stapleton as Edith? Everyone definitely replaced Carol O'Connor as Archie Bunker or Jean Stapleton as Edith. Sally didn't suppose so. "Nobody is going to be Carol O'Connor," she said. "Nobody, however, no person is going to be some other Jean Stapleton. It wasn't pretty much talent, it was approximately chemistry. That cast worked together like puzzle portions that just fit." But how did Sally shape into that puzzle inside the first vicinity? Let's pass lower back to the start. Sally wasn't always a famous TV star. Sally wasn't always a famous TV star. Sally, let's pass lower back to the start. Sally wasn't always a famous TV star. In truth, her early years couldn't have been more normal or more difficult. She changed into born in Portland, Oregon on July 28, 1947. Her adolescence? Not exactly storybook material. Her dad and mom separated whilst she turned into Inside the Clouds, 33 grade, and they didn't formally divorce till she became 17. Her dad changed into a doctor, however he wasn't around much. Sally cherished him although, and he or she were given creative, just to spend time with him. She'd fake to be ill so he'd come over to check on her. Funny enough, that little sport of make trust can also had been her first appearing role. At first, Sally wanted to comply within her father's footsteps and emerge as a medical doctor. But while she found out that slicing people open wasn't her component, she shifted gears. She were given into artwork and even received a college scholarship for it. But after some time, she started out to sense like art wasn't the right fit both. She desired something greater, something larger. That's why she determined to apply to the Pasadena Playhouse College of Theater Arts. And guess what? She were given in with a scholarship. At the Pasadena Playhouse, Sally threw herself into performing. She played everything from little kids to vintage girls. She discovered makeup, dancing, dialects, the whole lot she needed to realize to end up a first-rate actress. But in spite of all that education, breaking into Hollywood wasn't clean. After she graduated, she spent 3 years scraping via, doing whatever it took to pay the bills. She labored as a waitress, a receptionist, and even offered popcorn at a movie theater. She'd auditioned for anything and the whole thing, but the big ruin simply wouldn't come. It wasn't all horrific, though. In 1968, Sally landed multiple small roles in movies. Unfortunately, neither film ever were given release. Then came a string of awful success that might have overwhelmed everybody's spirit. She booked a commercial, but the agency determined not to air it. She got forged in a role on the Jonathan Winters display. However, the display were canceled earlier than she ever got to film her part. At one point, she became broke. Her father had handed away, and she had no idea how she was going to make it. And then, just whilst matters regarded hopeless, Sally caught a spoil. She got a tiny component within the Jack Nicholson movie, 5 Easy Pieces. It became best approximately 5 mins of display screen time, but humans noticed her. Suddenly, doors commenced to open. She booked some TV gigs, including a position as Pebbles Flintstone within the Pebbles and Bam display. For a while, it seemed like things were subsequently coming collectively. But the real turning point came in 1971 while Sally auditioned for a new sitcom referred to as All Within the Family. The show became extraordinary from anything else on TV on the time. It turned into bold, edgy, and unafraid to tackle large troubles like racism, sexism, and generational conflict. Norman Lear, the show's author, turned into seeking out the proper actress to play Gloria, Archie Bunker's spirited, opinionated daughter. When Sally walked into the audition, Norman noticed something in her. She had the warm temperature, the humor, and the spark he was seeking out. Sally were given the part, and much like that, her existence changed for all time. Changed into it, the function that might make her a celebrity. But on the time, Sally had no idea simply how huge All Within the Own Family turned into going to be. She did not recognize she became about to become part of TV records. All she knew turned into that she subsequently had a danger, to expose the sector what she may want to do. Sally stepped onto the set with exhilaration and nerves swirling in her. She had overwhelmed out almost 100 different actresses to land the position of Gloria Stivic, Archie Bunker's headstrong but type-hearted daughter. She changed into selected no longer only for her talent, however for the spark she added to the character. Sally should snicker approximately at later, saying she had dated her on-screen husband Rob Reiner in brief in actual lifestyles. Before either of them ever dreamed they had grown to be playing a married couple. It became one of these strange coincidences that simple as Hollywood may want to create. The early days on set had been packed with getting to know curves and surprises. Sally quickly found out just how daring the show changed into. All Inside the Family wasn't your standard experience with a right sitcom. It tackled racism, sexism, and politics head-on, regularly with a boldness that left audiences bowled over. For Sally, it was thrilling to be part of something so groundbreaking, but it turned into also hard. She wanted Gloria to be extra than only a cheerleader for her husband's beliefs or a foil to Archie's rants. At first, although this is precisely how the person become written, in the beginning Gloria did not have a good deal intensity. She'd regularly be stuck within the crossfire among her father and her husband, siding with one or the opposite without a great deal of her own voice. Sally cherished playing Gloria. However, she couldn't shake the sensation that there was more to her person than what audiences were seeing. She wanted Gloria to be independent, to have her own point of view. But at that time, she stored those minds to herself. After all, the display was nevertheless locating its footing. And boy, did it find its footing. After a sluggish begin in the scores, All Within the Family exploded in recognition. By the give-up of its first season, it became the speak of the metropolis. People couldn't prevent humming approximately Archie's outrageous evaluations or Edith's endearing naivety. And Gloria? She'd have become the glue that held all of it, collectively. A relatable bridge between the old-fashioned views of her father and the living background noises that filled the house and made him it and the modern ideals of her husband. Sally's performance delivered heart and heat to the function, and visitors loved her for it. Still, as the display climbed to the pinnacle of the scores, Sally could not shake her frustration with Gloria's restricted function. Rather, she tried to discover the truth, as if by digging deeper, she would be able to correct it. As Babette Dell, Sally added her signature warm temperature and humor to the quirky metropolis of Stars Hollow. Fans of every age fell in love along with her portrayal of the eccentric, massive-hearted neighbor. For many more youthful viewers, this position became their creation to Sally's work, and it introduced every other layer to her already staggering career. Sally cherished hearing how moms and daughters bonded over Gilmore Girls, sharing their favorite moments from the show along with her each time they met her. In 2024, Sally stepped back into the spotlight with the Netflix collection Men on the Inside. The display, a heartwarming dramedy, allowed her to play Virginia, an ambitious and active resident of a retirement domestic, working along Ted Danson and in high-quality, forged veteran actors. Sally discovered herself energized by way of the challenge. She described the enjoy as a present, particularly after the quiet years that had followed her time on Gilmore Girls. Sally described herself a present particularly after the quiet years that had followed her time on Gilmore Girls. It changed into a reminder that her skills and presence still had a place in cutting-edge entertainment panorama. Sally's career has been a journey packed with USA and downs. However, she's always faced them with resilience and gratitude. She regularly reflects on how a good deal, all inside the own family, formed her existence, not simply through giving her reputation, but by way of teaching her what it meant to tell memories that mattered. The classes she discovered from Carol O'Connor, Jean Stapleton, and the complete cast stayed with her, guiding her through each role she took on. Even now, Sally suggests no symptoms of slowing down, whether she's on level, in front of the camera, or lending her voice to a man or woman. She keeps to proportion her skills with the world. Her motto is, easy, you rest, you rust. And Sally Struthers has no plans to relaxation whenever soon.